Hello, welcome back to Bet Builders. I'm, of course, Statman Dave on Free Super Tips. And once again, I'm joined by James Allcott. Welcome to the show, James.
It's great to be back. Thanks for inviting me again.
Well, last time you called some pretty big bangers, so we thought we'd bring you back again today. Of course, we're focused on game week 23 in the Premier League. It's all going off. Do you think Kabak's a sign Liverpool need to win the Premier League?
They needed a centre-back, that's for sure, and they've got one now. They don't have to play Reece Williams anymore, which I think is helpful. Liverpool fans are starting to say, well, Nat Phillips is great. No, guys. He's fine, but you needed someone. And they've done that, so I think it's definitely going to be helpful for them, for sure.
Well, more on Liverpool later on. Of course, they're playing Man City this weekend at Anfield. That is massive for the title race, so we're going to talk a lot about that. We're also going to talk about Man United's 9-0 win.
Yeah, I'm sure you want to talk about
Head
that.
blown up.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're facing Everton this weekend, so that should be a good game. Arsenal, hit and miss at the moment. We'll dive into those guys. But if you want to check out any more tips, go on to freesupertips.com and dive over there. Those guys have got bags of tips for game week 23 in the Premier League. Now it's time to revisit game week 21. We had some winners. I picked out a little bit of a winner in the West Ham United-Liverpool game. Liverpool, of course, sensational on the counter-attack in that game. Rory got two winners, one in the Crystal Palace Wolves game at 15-2 and one in the West Brom Fulham game at 11-5. And FST, of course, also picked one out in the West Brom Fulham game. James, do you reckon you've got it today?
I feel good. I'm really excited about this one. I reckon at least 4 correct ones, guys. Jot it down.
First up, we're going to talk about Aston Villa versus Arsenal. A massive game for both clubs. Yep. Could be a real swing point in the season. Dean Smith, man, of course, won the game at the Emirates 3-0 with a brace of Ollie Watkins. But Ross Barkley was the man of the match for me. Now Partey's in midfield. Do you reckon they'll be able to deal with his threat?
Yes, possibly. I do like Aston Villa. I think they've just got such a great balance to the team, and Barkley coming back into that side is a massive help for them as well. I think it will help Watkins as well. This is a really tough one because you can't settle on Arsenal. We can't figure them out. And also, David Luiz being out, a couple of injuries here and there as well. It's going to be interesting because actually Arsenal have still improved. And if you look at that Aston Villa game, I was looking at the average positions of them actually the other day, and they just had no one in that central attacking midfield role.
The wide average position, Matt, was it?
It was
they just split.
Yes, there was literally just there was no centre forward. Lacazette was far too deep. That's been sorted out a little bit with Smith Rowe, and Odegaard has got to come in at some point as well. So I think it's going to be a really interesting game this week.
It is. Just to finish things off on Barkley, created 6 chances, registering assists, and 4 shots versus Arsenal. So he was directly involved.
Great signing.
In 10 shots. That's pretty decent. But Saka, he's the spark for Arsenal. When he is flying, Arsenal flying, of course, against Wolves in their last game, hit the post and had a goal ruled out for offside. He's the guy that's going to start anything for them. Yeah,
massively. I think Lacazette's put in a lot of good work for them as well. I do think this is such a tough game. I think Villa are just one of the big stories of the season. Just so much balance in the team, a lot of quality there as well. For Arsenal, Smith Rowe, I love his movement. I think he's a big thing for them. Partey's great there as well. They need Tierney back and they need Saka back. I think that's going to be important. If those guys play, it's going to be crucial.
So are you going to be backing Aston Villa? You talk the talk about Aston Villa. Are you going to back them in the first bet that you're building today? One of the 4 winners.
Come on. Do the double, boys. Do the double.
Aston Villa to win the match and both teams to score no. Interesting. Last few games they've played each other, Villa have won to 0 in the last 2 games. Is that where the methodologies come from, or have you seen something else?
Do you know what I'm going to go with? The big one with this is it's Martinez. He's just been so good in my FPL team this season. And Aston Villa have got a lot of clean sheets this year. Yeah. The defence probably doesn't get the credit it deserves because you've got these exciting players like Grealish, Watkins and Barkley. But the defence is really, really strong here. And I think Arsenal, the last couple of... Look, the Man United game... It was okay, but the end product wasn't really there. The Wolves game obviously was a bit of an anomaly, but losing players and Leno not being in this game as well because he was obviously sent off in the game against Wolves. I think it just might lean it towards Aston Villa. That's
interesting, James, because I'm going the other way.
I understand.
I am backing Arsenal in this game to win the match. Aubameyang anytime over 2.5 goals in the game. I think it could be quite open.
Do you?
I think it could be an open game. I think Arsenal have taken a bit of a beating from Villa recently. And now with Saka back, and I also think Gabriel back in the team, David Luiz obviously missing. Gabriel Holding is their best 2 centre-backs for me. Yeah. A goalkeeper, obviously a slight issue, but if they've got the protection, they've got Smith Rowe, they've got Saka, I think could be quite interesting. I thought Villa were very lucky against Southampton to not concede that penalty with Matty Cash. Also the Danny Ings offside goal that wasn't offside, where the Premier League just needs to sort themselves out or just delete the AR. You know what I mean? Yeah. I'm just a bit annoyed because he's in my FPL team again, just talking about fantasy football. But Aubameyang is kind of due a goal. Last time he scored against Villa was 3 games ago, and he played as a centre forward.
Right.
Probably not going to see that this time with Lacazette's form, as you mentioned, the top XG in the Premier League in 2021. But I've just got a feeling Aubameyang.
Interesting. I'm surprised you've gone with Aubameyang there. Have you got people like Pepe in great form?
Yeah, no, I just think it's time. It's time for the big man to come back. Now let's take a look at free super tips bet builder for this game. So round things off, they've gone Villa draw double chance, both teams to score yes, and Watkins any time.
Watkins is in my team as well, so I'm happy with that one. That's fine with me.
Well, it's good. We've covered all results now,
Yeah.
so we've got a decent coverage.
I think this is, there is so much football out there at the moment, but I think this is a cracking one to watch. I'm fascinated to see how Arsenal deal with that defeat earlier in the season, because I think if they have a bit of dominance, I think Villa will be quite comfortable with that, because on the counter-attack, they were just so dangerous in that first game. Fascinating one, this.
Next up, we've got Burnley versus Brighton, the purists versus the hipsters. Graham Potter versus Sean Dyche. Let's dive straight into the bet for this game, James.
Yeah, toss of a coin, this one. I was literally going, Brighton could play this great football. They like to play an attacking style, and they could get that first goal. I think the first goal will obviously be crucial in this one. But then I kind of just sort of settled into this thought process, and I thought, Burnley at home, yeah, I think they'll bully them, and I think they'll win this game. That's
so you're going with the purists, you're going with the bullies.
Yes.
I think the interesting side there, Burnley weren't great against Chelsea. Brighton play a similar style to Chelsea at the moment. Under Thomas Tuchel, obviously that 3 at the back, 4 in midfield, 2 off 1. Same thing that Brighton play. So it could be a game where we might actually see the hipsters win. Do you think that's going to happen?
Honestly, this is a really tricky one. I'm kind of going with my head over, not even my heart really, but my hipster leanings. I just think maybe set pieces. Brighton have struggled with set pieces this season as well. So despite actually the size that they got in their team, which is a bit strange. And so those factors made me go for Burnley and getting a set piece as well. Maybe Ben Mee getting another goal.
Well, luckily, James, I'm also backing Burnley in this game. So we're both in this together. Lots of 1-0s, lots of 2-1s in the recent fixtures. And I think the pressure is on Brighton. In the last 10 Premier League games that Burnley have played in, only one game has finished with more than 3 goals in. That's why I've gone under 3.5. And that was, of course, the 3-2 win against Aston Villa. So I just feel Burnley are back into that Burnley rhythm. Yep. Scrappy games, nick a goal, win the game. That's why we've gone with that. Let's jump on to free super tips bet builder for this game. They're jumping with the Brighton draw double chance under 2.5. So a bit of a low scorer.
Yeah, I think it seems like they agree with us here today, which means we have knowledge, which means you've done the right thing by clicking on this video today. Congratulations.
Newcastle versus Southampton is next up. This is a massive game for both teams. I thought Newcastle were excellent against Everton.
Yes.
A little bit dodge against Palace.
Yes.
And Southampton got 9-0'd.
Yes.
So both teams are in a bit of a position where they need to win this game.
Yeah, I guess the big question here is, I think Newcastle, I just can't figure them out really, but generally I don't feel like they're a very energised squad. They're very negative. I saw the game against Crystal Palace, got that early goal, which was poor on Crystal Palace's part, and then they just kind of sat back, and Crystal Palace got back into the game so easily. I worry about Newcastle this season. I don't think they're out of it at all, and I expect, or I hope there'll be that response from Southampton after that 9-0 game, which bizarrely, like anything bad that could have happened in that game to Southampton happened.
Yeah, they had a red card after 70-odd seconds from a lad that had making his professional debut. The penalty, the red card as well to make it.
You've got an own goal,
Bednarek.
It's like own goal, penalty, sending off.
Yeah,
I mean,
the game would have been very different if that red card didn't happen in the opening 2 minutes of the game. It's very, very different.
Exactly.
And I think that's the kind of problem when you play teams with an extra man. If they get an early goal, you are done.
Yeah, and I think Man United would have been, Solskjaer would have gone, this is a decent team here, come on. And then it kind of works out, and actually it's not as decent a team because of the depletion that they've got themselves in terms of injuries, which will be a problem in this Newcastle game for them as well.
Are you going to be back in Southampton or are you going to be back in Newcastle?
I think I'm sitting on the fence, if I remember right.
A 1-1 draw, Wilson to score first.
Yeah, look, Wilson scored, I think, 66% of Newcastle's goals this season, something like that. I mean, he's just carrying them on his shoulders. So I think it's a good bet for him to score for Newcastle. Southampton, maybe a bit wobbly after that 9-0 away from home as well. And Newcastle, after losing against Crystal Palace, they'll be looking at this game and thinking, come on, you need to win this one. So I think all that balancing itself out, I see a draw.
I think the interesting thing with Southampton as well is that at right back they've got problems. They've got injuries there. You're thinking if St. Maximum starts this game, there's got to be at some point when he starts a game, that he could come on and really own that game. In terms of Callum Wilson, 2 goals and 2 assists in 2021, an XG of 2.1, which ranks him 6th among strikers in the Premier League. So he's in good form right now.
Yeah.
But let's move on to my bet. I've also included Wilson, but not first. I'm going to go Wilson anytime, but also Danny Ings anytime, of course. I just think a goal's coming with Danny Ings. Yeah. Very unlucky against Aston Villa. You know, that the offside, the penalty. And then, in fact, the last time he played at St James Park, he scored. So that's why I've gone Ings and I've gone Wilson, because I kind of agree with you. He is the only guy that's going to make something happen. And I think the form of players like Almiron and the form of players like Fraser and St Maximum means that Wilson is going to get more chances. So that's why I'm gone with Wilson. Let's jump over to FST and see what they've gone for this game. They've gone Wilson anytime. They're copying me, James.
Copying.
Unbelievable. But I like the bet.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. Ings is a really good shout, because I think with Newcastle defending quite deep, you need his movement and his sort of guile. And
his ability on the ball. I think he's underrated with the ball at his feet. He's quite a skillful little player. Next up, Fulham host West Ham in an East versus West London derby. David Moyes is having a good season. Yeah. Lots of plaudits. How do you rate West Ham, though?
I'm waiting for it to tail off with West Ham, but I think the defence has been so solid, and then they've got... It's just a very David Moyes team. I like the physicality of, Souček, Declan Rice, Antonio up top as well. I think the big thing's going to be Antonio staying fit. If he stays fit, I can see them finishing top 8. If he doesn't, I think that's when they might struggle a little bit to score the goals. But they don't concede many, really. So, they're an awkward side to play against. I don't think anyone wants to play for them at the moment. I think I read an article with Ogbonna, and he was talking about the change there. And the big change is the fact that they're taking it seriously. Like you said, it seems obvious, doesn't it?
What? They're taking it seriously. They're now taking their job seriously. But James, I take my bets that I build very seriously on this channel.
As do I. But I think the point he's trying to make is that the mentality of West Ham, which has been so weak for so many years, I think now you've got just a lot of steel there. Mentally as well as physically, and I think that's helping him in a big way this year. It's
quite funny to think of David Moyes. It's literally, he builds a team that's horrible to play against.
Yeah.
That's like his definition. But talking about players that are horrible to play against, Lookman has impressed me this season.
Yeah.
In terms of shot creating actions for players 23 and under, only Saka, Neto and Mason Mount have managed more than Lookman in the Premier League this season. Do you reckon he's one of the most underrated young players in the Prem? Still 23.
Is he right? I've actually thought he was even younger than that, but I guess maybe that's just he's got a bit of a baby face. I like the way Fulham have kind of set themselves up here. A lot of it is through sort of progressive carries, it feels like a lot of the time. And Guisa does it brilliantly, Lookman does it brilliantly. I think he's the best, obviously. Loftus-Cheek as well. I really like Lookman. I really, really like him. And I think he wants to be the sort of the star player for a team, but he kind of needed to find the team to be that guy, to have that responsibility. And he's got that at Fulham. And if they stay up, I think it's going to be down to him, especially against teams where they're not going to dominate the ball because of his ability to drive through. To carry the ball, exactly. Yeah, no, I like him a lot.
James, let's have a look at your bet that you've built for this game. Back in West Ham, the Irons, gone with a draw under 2.5 goals. So not for the hipsters, this game. It's I think it's Fulham, a purist game, this one.
What do Fulham do? Draw. What do Fulham do? Not really score goals. I think that's the big one for me.
Well, that is simple, isn't it?
Yeah, I think this. I couldn't look at anything else. I'd be surprised if you've gone with... If you've got surely one of these, haven't you?
I've got something that's close. Let's dive into mine. I've not gone with a draw. I've gone West Ham to win the game. Dawson. Score anytime. We're 28-1 in this, James. Under 3.5 goals. So let me explain myself.
I like this.
So this is the battle of the best attacking and defensive set-piece teams in the league. So West Ham have scored the most goals from set-pieces. Only Arsenal, Man City and West Ham United have conceded fewer goals than Fulham from set-pieces.
Oh, wow.
But I think they're going to crack here. When you're looking at West Ham United as well, Dawson's obviously a threat from corners. There's many threats in the box, but one of them that's recently scored a goal. Jarrod Bowen and Aaron Cresswell have both registered 3 assists from set pieces this season. Only James Ward-Prowse has more. So I'm looking at this as a game where there ain't going to be much action at open play. If you're a fan of set pieces, get this game on the telly. Under 3.5 goals, there's not going to be that many.
Yeah, I think it's a really good shout with Dawson, because you think about that corner, you think the ball coming in is going to be great, but also you've got Souček and Declan Rice as 2 of your midfielders going into the box.
And now people are aware of those two, aren't they?
Yeah.
So which
Souček in particular
could Dawson that little bit of space, a little bit more goals, because they are worried about the big check at the back stick heading it in.
Exactly.
I'd be afraid.
Yeah, I'd be absolutely afraid. Dawson, that's such a great shout. Well done.
At 28-1, I don't know whether it's the best bet I've ever built in the time, but I like it. Let's move on to free super tips and see what they've got for this game. They've got West Ham draw double chance, both teams score yes, and they've got the main man, their deadly check.
Deadly check, that's it, a big part of it. Maybe that's it. Maybe I've just watched Rocky IV too many times, and obviously I know he's not Russian, don't worry. But just that kind of, I don't know, that just sort of hard steel. He's kind of got that Ivan Drago vibe.
I think the big thing with him is no players scored more headed goals since he moved to the Premier League. So there's reasons why that is in the bet. Next up, James, your team, Manchester United, play Everton. What a performance against Southampton.
Sorry, what?
You support them now. They scored 9 goals in the Premier League. Surely you like attacking football?
No, not sure it works like that. Queen's Park Rangers, guys. Queen's Park Rangers. Man United, yeah. Got lucky, didn't they? Really?
Yeah, you consider it as luck. I consider it as it's only happened 3 times in the Premier League, so pretty decent. And Premier League's been going for a while. But let's talk Luke Shaw. Best left back in the Premier League right now.
That's funny you say that. I was going to go talk to me about Luke Shaw.
I'm just going to tuck my iPad behind my chair and deliver my point. Luke Shaw, best left back in the Premier League. I'm done.
Do you want with England and the Euros? I think Chilwell got dropped the other day. Alonso coming in. Luke Shaw, fancy it, dear? I mean, he's been
Aaron Cresswell would be the curveball.
Maybe, but I mean, you can't deny
Luke Shaw.
You can't deny Luke Shaw at the moment. No. The way that he's playing, and I think the big thing was, I've always thought he's quite steady, and I think when he's not in good form, he's sort of 6 out of 10. He never truly lets you down. But now his attacking output's amazing, and Rashford on that left-hand side. I always, whenever I see him on the right-hand side, I'm always a little bit gutted because he's so much better on that left-hand side. And him and Luke Shaw look pretty deadly in the last few games, not just this last.
They've got a great partnership, and I think they understand each other's game. Where you see them move the right way. One stays wide, one comes inside, and either or. Take the chance they created versus Liverpool with Martial wide left, Shaw coming in.
Yeah.
And then you look at his crossing. The ball to Cavani was fantastic. The ball to the back post to Aaron Wan-Bissaka was great, but the stats in the first half against Southampton, most passes, most ball recoveries, most chances created and 2 assists. Like, for a defender, that is pretty sensational. But the stat that really came out where I was like, wowzers, that is pretty crazy. The only defender to create more big chances in the Premier League this season than Luke Shaw is
Andrew Robertson?
With 8. And he's played 3 games more. Luke Shaw, best left back in the league. Tick, done. Everton.
Okay.
What are we thinking? Sloppy in recent weeks.
Yes.
Not up to the levels of the start of the season, but the last time that we kind of went down that line, they kind of hit a bit of form again. Calvert-Lewin, James, Luca Dean. They need to step up.
I think the big thing for them is those first 6 games, you saw the best 11 that they've got.
Yeah.
And if you take out any other pieces of that, you really lose Everton because Richarlison does so much great work to help Calvert-Lewin. James Rodriguez, it's not totally on him then if he's playing, but if he's not playing, you lose so much creativity. Alan as well. I think Alan's been one of the top performers for Everton this season, has had problems with injuries at different times, and I think that's a big problem for them. They're struggling to kind of have that rhythm. I think Josh King's a good signing because I do feel like there's quite a lot of there is so much onus on Calvert-Lewin to play every game and score in every game. And Josh King could maybe kind of relieve that a little bit and also provide a different option to Richarlison if he gets suspended or injured.
Could even play as a 2. I think that's something that King's done quite a lot at Bournemouth.
Yeah, if you think of him and Callum Wilson, DCL's, there's a similar vibe to him in terms of being that proper out-and-out striker. So I think Josh King's a really great bit of business for Everton. Yeah, they need to be careful.
He could have been playing for Man United as well. Remember that? Last deadline day, Josh King was getting touted around to everyone and Man United was sniffing.
So if he does play or come on, he's got a point to prove.
Ex-United as well, so it's always going to happen. Maybe that is a great little tip for goal scoring. Obviously not in any of our bets, I don't imagine. You've not done it, have you, Josh King, in your bet?
Josh King? No, I don't think so.
Put it in. Let's take a look.
Okay, yeah, Man United to win. Yeah, I think, look.
Almost surprised when you're like...
No, I was trying to remember it.
What was my bet?
I think the fact is that, look, you're winning 9-0. I think you're in a good place, right? And people are scoring goals. And Martial coming on as well is interesting. It's going to be interesting to see who starts in this next one because I think that's Solskjaer will be so delighted with that because as much as I think he deep down wants to play Cavani as the main striker in a lot of these big games, you need help from the rest of the players as well. And so for Martial to score 2 against Southampton was cracking. I just think Rashford's just in just a lovely place as a footballer.
Yeah, I agree. I really agree with that.
So of the players, maybe Fernandes is an obvious one, but I just think Rashford's influence is just getting greater and greater. I think he's a cracking left-sided forward. I think he's really
when United don't play Rashford and Bruno at 10 and wide left, they struggle. That's it. That's how it is. In terms of Cavani, took a big knock on his ankle.
Right.
against Southampton, but has scored 3-headed goals in the Premier League this season. Only Dominic Calvert-Lewin has scored more. So a battle of the guys that are decent with the old heads. If you threw Souček into one of these teams, we'd have an absolute party. Let's move on to my bet. I'm also backing Manchester United and Marcus Rashford. I agree with both things he said, playing against the most,
Have you ever not backed Man United?
No, why would I do that? James,
bias is important.
Sorry, James, where are they in the league?
No, they are.
They're a decent position, aren't they?
They're doing right.
But this man, he's back. Definitely back. What a performance I thought it was against Southampton.
I'm surprised he didn't take him off at half-time. He's so important.
He needed it. I think he needed just a bit of a game where he can feel himself. A lot of really good touches off the ball, 2 assists in the game. I thought it was fantastic. But the stat that came out today, he's ranked 2nd in XG in 2021. That's why I've got him to score.
Fair play.
Well, I've got him in the bagsman position behind Lacazette, of course.
That's the penalties, though, isn't it? Again,
it is the penalties, but the penalties are the penalties. Is it a goal?
Yeah, he takes them. Yeah. No, I get it. A bit. Are the odds?
Have you seen players miss penalties this season, James?
My point is, are the odds going to be great? That's the thing.
Hey, well,
I want to win.
I
want to
like
win big sometimes.
A cheeky little 9-2 after my 28-1, James. I'm keeping it safe.
Yeah,
in 36 Premier League games, Bruno Fernandes has scored 20 goals and got 16 assists. I've got to back him, but also he has the highest expected assists in Europe, so that's why Rashford's in there as well.
Fair play. Great bet.
Easy as you like.
Yeah.
Should we check out another bet for this game? Just see what free super tips are knocking around.
Yeah.
See if they're backing us with
got anything
Rashford.
in their locker. Let's have a look.
They're not backing Marcus Rashford. Very disappointing. Okay. But both teams to score. Not bad, considering we expect this Everton team to kick in at some point. They've got too much quality going forward. As you mentioned, this could be the Josh King bet. And over 2.5 in the game. After United's 9 goals, I probably would have gone over 9 goals. I'm going to be brutally honest. But, got to be safe sometimes. Next up, we've got Spurs versus West Brom. Mourinho is truly in the mud after the Kane injury, right?
He's having a wobble, isn't he? Yeah, I think...
A wobble?
Yeah, he's having
a wobble? He's fallen off a cliff.
Gareth Bale, now is the time for you to step up, son. Come on now. Did
you watch the Brighton game at all?
Yeah.
Zero chances created, 0 shots on target.
Well, just to be clear, that was the whole point, is, I don't think I'd said this to him yet, but now, of course he watches this, he will now know, now is the time to step up. Now, Gareth.
Okay, so you're putting him in your bet by the sounds of things. If now is the time to set up, then surely you've backed Gareth Bale to draw the game.
Yeah, and I think with Gareth they can get a draw in this one. And look, losing Harry Kane, any team that loses Harry Kane is a massive problem with the assists this season and the goals this season. I bring up Gareth Bale because actually I quite like to see him in the similar role, because I think that would allow the rest of the team to play, in their similar roles, because you want to get the best out of Son as much as you want to get the best out of Harry Kane when he is playing. So when he's not playing, you need to find another way of doing that. I think Gareth Bale can help with that. That said, I don't think Mourinho will do that, and I think for West Brom, everything Allardyce is talking about, rightly so, is how poor the defence is. Yeah. So I think that is all they will be working on. And then they walk into this game against a team that is pretty boring to watch, not very attacking, and doesn't really take too many risks. So that's why I think this could be a draw. Do
you want my honest opinion about Gareth Bale? See that bin over there? Yeah, that's where he needs to go. Wow. I'd be starting Carlos Vinicius. I think he's been good in the Europa League, and he's a better player than Gareth Bale in a centre-forward position. And I like him. I think he's a good player.
Yeah. I mean, his record's been good this season. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. But I mean, you've got this. There's been this talk about, he's just needing a lot longer to get fit. Come on, let's go now.
It's been a while.
Let's go now. Run the games, Gareth. Let's see 2011 Gareth Bale.
So I'm again not going to appease any Spurs fans that are watching the show. Unfortunately, I've gone with a West Brom draw double chance. But I've gone over 2.5 goals.
Really?
Yeah, I think there could be some goals in this game in terms of the goal scorers for West Brom. Mateus Pereira's got 4 in 2021, with only Gundogan scoring more in the Premier League. Some of them are penalties, of course, but you've got to score your penalties.
Got 2, yeah.
So I'm going to go over 2.5. I could see a 2-2 draw, a double Desmond.
Okay.
Let's take a look at 3 super tips. Are they going to back Gareth Bale and Spurs? They're backing Spurs to win the game in under 2.5, so bit of a theme.
Yeah, I can feel a sort of like a scrappy 1-0 could be on the cards as well, because, as much as I'm leaning towards West Brom this time, because I'm thinking Sam Allardyce has got to sort this defence out.
Eventually, it's got to happen.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was a 1-0 win to Spurs, but one maybe not to watch.
Now on to 2 teams that will be battling out for 7th place in the Premier League, Wolverhampton Wanderers and Leicester City. Did you get that time, James?
I did.
Excellent, mate.
I think that's incredibly harsh and incredibly... factually inaccurate. Wolves struggling. Wolves really struggling. I got a lot of heat on the YouTubes from Wolves fans when I said they'd finished 13th at the start of the season. Well, I think that's looking all right now.
You didn't predict that Raul Jimenez would take a really big injury and then they'd struggle to score goals.
Well,
did you? Well, tell me you did that. Then did you predict that?
If I went that granular, how long would that video have been?
It could have been a long one.
Sometimes you've got to go top line. Just trust me. Leicester City, they need Vardy back. They do need Vardy back, but I think that will happen. This is a tricky one. Yeah, I think I can see this. Yeah.
What can you see?
I don't know. I'm trying to remember what I can see.
Tell me what you can see.
I'd love to see
what can you see?
I can see it. There we go. Leicester to win the match. Yeah. I just think Wolves, even the game against Arsenal, they weren't that great. You know, you've got the penalty and the sending off happens in that one moment. The second half, a little bit better, and then Moutinho, smashes a rocket into the top corner, and then after that, of course, they're just happy to kind of keep their win, and then they even went down to 9 men, of course.
Only great teams can beat people 9-0 when they've got 9 men.
Great point. So I don't think Wolves with that win, although that will relieve some pressure, I don't think they're still, a fluent, decent side at this moment in time. And Leicester City, even without Vardy, I still think they've got real quality there this season, and I think they'll be maybe just a bit too good for Wolves in this one.
Oh, that's okay, because I'm going to be backing Wolves. I think they're going to come away with a classic Wolves score from this season, James.
Okay, 1-0, is it?
No, let's take a look at the bet. I want to reveal it on the bet right now and check what we've got. We've got 2-1.
Okay.
To Wolves, and I'm going to go William Jose to score. I think it's time. Won the penalty against Arsenal. Good running behind the defence. Found by little Pedence. I just think Wolves, they've changed again to the back four, 4-2-3-1. They can get more attackers in. I think it could be a good thing for them. Leicester City, I think, are vulnerable on the counter. Wolves have got great carriers of the football. I'm going to go with the Wolves win at 22-1.
Yeah.
That is a banger. 2-1. Accuracy, James. That's what we want on this show. Let's take a look at free super tips bet builder for this game. Let's see where they've gone down. They've gone Wolves draw double chance and under 2.5 goals in the game. Not a classic, but quite a classical bet.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that. Where's the love for Leicester here? I find it really strange. You've got such a good team there, apart from Vardy. Maddison scored a few more goals in the last few weeks and months. And I think he'll be able to step up. That's why I put Maddison in my bet. Harvey Barnes as well can get a goal for you. There's loads of quality in this Leicester team.
I just think with Leicester is they're very much like a Spelly, where they'll go on a great run and then they'll have like 2 or 3 poor games. And I think they were very, very poor against Leeds. I think they might be poor against Wolves.
I never use Leeds as a barometer for anything. They're crazy.
Now on to the big one. Liverpool versus Man City. The last game finished 1-1. A goal apiece for Mohamed Salah and Gabriel Jesus. Klopp went with a bit of a 4-2-3-1 to counteract Liverpool's 4-3-3, but Klopp threw a back a 4-2-4. Yeah. It was a crazy game.
Yeah, I remember that.
What do you make of it?
Yeah, I mean, both those teams were in very different places, weren't they, in that game? It felt like in that one, as much as Man City generally dominate any game that they play in, there was a kind of a lack of confidence in that team and at that time. Liverpool really went for it, didn't they, with the 4, and they themselves have had their wobbles ever since, it seems. So I just think that both of these teams don't want to lose this game. I don't think it's grave enough a situation for Liverpool to go, we need to go and win against this lot. Man City, I think they'll be happy to control the game as much as they can. If they can get a goal, then great. But if they stop Liverpool, catching up on them, then I think they would take that as well. So I think this could be a real disappointment, this game. I just see it being a real disappointment. A lot of the big games against the sort of top 6 sides have been like that. The amount of videos I've done on YouTube that have been 0-0.
James, this is not something new. It
always
happened. I think this is the first test for Guardiola's new system. That 3-diamond 3. We've seen it and it's looked good. Cancelo inside from right wing back. This is the first time that he's going to be facing 3 forwards in a counter-attacking situation, a 3v3. Could see a change in Pep's tactics back to maybe more of a traditional back 4 to deal with that. I feel this could be a classic Liverpool gegenpressing game. You know, we were talking like a few years ago where Liverpool's big strengths were pressing out of the back, they nick the ball and score. I feel like it could be either that or very much a draw. In terms of Kabak, does he come straight in for you?
I think I've always said Henderson needs to get back into that midfield. I think he just offers so much more in terms of driving the team forward. And like you say, if you are going to kind of press to the way that they want to press, I just think he's huge as a leader for that team. So as much as bringing in centre-backs is great, it's actually the big thing is allowing Henderson to get back into midfield, in my mind. So I think it's a bit of a toss of a coin because I think the safe option the safer option is actually Ben Davies right now to play for this first game. You could play both of them. as well, depending on Fabinho and if he's fit or not, because you just don't know with him at the moment. Matip's out for the rest of the season. So I wouldn't even be surprised if that happened. But I mean, that is probably a bit too much of a baptism of fire for them to do so. I wouldn't be surprised if Kabak, they waited with him and went with Ben Davies first. I don't think that's probably a popular opinion, but I wouldn't be surprised just because of the amount of football that Ben Davies has played, in the English league.
Yeah, no, and you're thinking the language as well, teammates, communication. Not a bad shout, but I could see Klopp also going
left-footed as well.
Go on, lad, go for it. Get yourself in there, see what you can do. Let's jump into the bets, James. Who are you backing for this game?
I am not backing. I am. This is so. If you don't know, I do sort of like match reactions to games on YouTube, and every time it's a big game, it's always 0-0. The curse is so strong this year, and it will continue with another 0-0. I just like for the first time, I'm calling it now instead of trying to be optimistic. Let's just accept it. The correct score will be 0-0 in this game. And obviously, both teams to score. No, obviously not, because it's 0-0.
Welcome to the most boring bet of the show. Well, let's move on to my bet, a little bit more expansive, a little bit more fun. Mohamed Salah, anytime, 15 goals in 20 Premier League games.
We're not here for this to be fun, Dave. We're here to be correct.
Okay.
Do you know who told me that?
Okay.
Do you know who told me that? You did, Dave.
Two goals in the last 3 against Man City. 3 goals in 5 games against Liverpool in the Premier League. These guys like scoring in this fixture in recent games. That's why it's 4-1. That's why it's more fun than your bet.
It's definitely more fun. I just don't think it'll be correct. That's fine.
Okay, well, let's go on to FST's bet builder to see which way they're swinging. They're going Man City, both teams to score yes, Salah anytime. So they're backing me over you, James, unfortunately.
Fair enough. Everyone's entitled to their opinion. Unfortunately, both of yours are wrong.
Our penultimate game takes us to Sheffield. Thomas Tuchel's men go north. So a team that's won 3 games in the last 5, beating United and 2 relegation rivals in Newcastle and West Brom. But they're without Ethan Ampadu, who has been sensational in recent weeks.
Sensational? He's going to go that far? Wow.
Sensational.
I mean, well,
look. For a man that steps up for Leipzig and dominates Spurs in a Champions League game, you've got my attention.
Yes.
Can you do it in Leipzig? Yeah, I've done it in East Germany. Can you do it in Sheffield? Yeah, I've done it in Sheffield, east of England.
Yeah,
look, my attention's there.
Yeah, no, it should be.
But why is he not playing for Chelsea?
Because he's at Sheffield United right now. And he would obviously be missing this game because of that clause. He was great in the West Brom game, and that's the player that they were waiting for, really. I know a lot of Sheffield United fans have been quite disappointed with him. Brewster as well has not really been able to get the games. And even actually the other night when he was about to come on, Billy Sharp scores a goal and Chris Wilder just taps in and goes, back you go. We're 2-up now. We're not putting on another striker, yeah. Look, Sheffield United is happening, guys. Something's happening here. Okay. There's a great narrative. They're going to stay up. I'm behind Chris Wilder. Let's do it. Beat Chelsea this week. Tuchel will be like, Premier League football, this is easy. No.
Okay, so surely that's the bet. You've basically just told us your bet that you've built for this game, James. You're not going to be a turncoat and flip it on its head and be
United, mate.
Chelsea to win the game. Wowzers.
Oh, yes.
So you're going for a Billy Sharp winner again. Back-to-back Billy Sharp winners.
Yes, that is exactly what I'm saying. 2-1. Tuchel's he's not ready. You're not ready for Yorkshire, okay? I think something's happening here. They've got the bit between the teeth. And I think big thing that Chris Wilder said, which is important here, is he obviously said this to them. He said, let's just have a go. Let's let go. And I think that's been a big thing that's been holding Sheffield United back. And the football that they played, yes, it is West Brom. Yes, it is Newcastle United. But you almost need that little building.
It is 9-0 winning Manchester United, though.
Yes, yeah, great point. Exactly. So they can beat big teams as well. But you needed those little building blocks just to go, can we win football games? Yeah, we can. And then go from there. And I believe. Come on, Sheffield.
You see, James, I'm going to throw this right in your face right now. I do not believe this game is not the one for Sheffield United. I think they might stay up because they got momentum. But I think this Chelsea team are geared to open them up.
Possibly so.
I think the system, the shape, the two
But which one's he going to pick? Which shape is he going to pick?
I think he'll go with the 3-4-2-1.
Okay.
2 number 10s, basically playing in the space in between Sheffield United's midfield 3. I think also the pace of Timo Werner. I'd play Timo Werner through the middle. I'd play Hakim Ziyech. I'd play Kai Havertz. I think that Sheffield United got caught out quite a bit this season, playing a little bit too high, no pressure on the ball.
Yep.
Little bit of space in behind gets exploited. Werner's one of the quickest forwards in the league. Havertz's movement is sensational. Ziyech can provide the pass. Jorginho as well. Created the joint most chances on the pitch in Chelsea's last game.
You're talking about a lot of players who've got no form whatsoever.
You are something else. But what I'm going to go, I've double chanced it because it's either going to be a 0-0 or a 2-0. Right. And under 3.5 goals. I think this Thomas Tuchel side at the moment, is more on the Louis van Gaal spectrum of possession than the swashbuckling Julian Nagelsmann side of the spectrum. So that's why I'm going with that.
Right.
But I do think if you're looking at players to back, Werner, Havertz, German, goal time in Sheffield. Let's move on to free super tips bet. That's an 8 to 15. That is a wild bet. Dead safe.
It's German
Chelsea to win the game, under 3.5 goals, most goals in the second half. That's not a bad shout, you know.
Yeah, I quite like that.
Tuchel seems to have created more chances in the second half. They've looked better getting into the game.
And like you said, I think it's a good point. You know, if you look at the possession in that Wolves game, that I think he is concentrating on that control a little bit more. And so it might be in the second half of games where you start to wear teams down. But these blades are strong. I think they'll be fine.
These blades are strong. And finally, Monday Night Football. Leeds United versus Palace. Should be a good game, actually.
Yeah.
Two of the most leakiest defences in the league this season. Bamford, a goal and 2 assists versus Leicester. What a performance. Yeah. Surely he can continue against Roy Hodgson's men.
Yeah, I think maybe even a season ago you would have looked at Crystal Palace and this game and you would have gone, wow, these are really different styles of football. But actually, Palace are a lot more open in the way that they're playing. You know, QPR fan, Abir Eze, love him so much, and I think he's really opened them up in a big way. I guess the thing is that they don't play with like really high tempo. Leeds do, and this is the same question for any game that Leeds plays. Like, can the opposition cope with Leeds United and the way that they play, and can they do something on the counter-attack? And I think with the likes of Zaha, Ayew is a good work for them, and Eze is quite pressure-proof because he's just such a great dribbler. I think this could be a really interesting game, and one that some people might think Leeds are going to absolutely bulldoze them. I don't see it that way.
Leeds, of course, are going to bulldoze them, James. Come on. Have you seen Bielsa's men take to the field this season? Let's take a look at your bet. Who are you backing? It better not be Crystal Palace. You're backing a draw. You've backed a lot of draws today, James.
Have I?
Boring weekend of Premier League football for you.
Do you know,
I'm going to have a banger by myself.
I think when I came on a couple of months ago, I went for those big ones, and now I'm like, I want to get these right. Okay. Like I said to you, I've promised you 4 correct results.
Is there a punishment for you not doing this? Have you got to wear a Brentford shirt next time you come on the show?
Brentford aren't really a rival to QPR. They're from Middlesex.
Who's your biggest rival?
Biggest rival, Chelsea, yeah.
Chelsea. So you've got to wear a Chelsea shirt on the next show if James doesn't get 4 right for you guys. So we've got draw. Bamford anytime. Over 2.5 goals, of course. Bamford anytime, as we mentioned in the pre-chat.
So I'm saying, I didn't realise at the time, I'm saying 3-3. Oh, no.
You are a
no, I'm not. 2-2.
Lunatic.
I think I'm thinking 2-2.
2-2. So you're going for the Desmond or more. I've backed Leeds United because Leeds United are very good at football. They're very good at playing organised teams. Over 4.5 goals. It's going to fly open, and Patrick Bamford's going to be at the heart of that. But also Jack Harrison.
Yeah.
Big fan of Jack Harrison.
Rafinha's been
Dallas in midfield as well, has had a nice goal threat / energy. They look very, very good, Leeds United.
Yeah, I like Leeds. I think Palace have got a little bit of cutting edge as well.
Okay.
You know?
Free Super Tips is going to decide who's right and wrong. Let's see what they've got. They've gone Leeds draw double chance. They've backed both of our bets.
Yeah.
Both teams to score yes and over 2.5. So basically they're saying we're both right, which is a great way to end the show. Well, guys, that has been Bet Builders on Free Super Tips. Of course, if you back any of our bets, please gamble responsibly. And James, thanks for coming on the show again. Where can the good people find you?
Just go on YouTube, search my name, James Allcott, ALLCOTT.
Especially if you want to see analysis on 0-0 draws. I've been Statman Dave. Make sure, of course, to like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.